Well, I feel like I'm doing like an acoustic evening with. Alright, so I'm going first, or I'm going last tonight because James is a bitch. And he was scared to close despite the fact that he's done comedy for years and I've done one set. So I was like, yeah, dude, I'll do it. Sure, I'll bite the bullet. And he was like, I just think that you could handle the pressure more. Well, like his exact words were, if you crash and burn, you're used to it. A real thing James said, guys, so a little insight on him. Alright. No, I thought it was really funny, honestly. I was there, I died laughing. Alright, so like this is already going better than last time because I wasn't sprawled out on the cement after drinking a pitcher of liquor, begging for a ginger chew and Tums. Going, Art, please bump my set back. Please, I can't do it. So I'm off to a little better start. And that's not something I do often because I work at a bar, so I'm so sick of dealing with really, really drunk people that like, but I can't figure out if I'm getting more or less tolerant. Turn the mic up. I feel like it was loud. Alright. Oh, it's loud up here. Alright. All good. Can you hear me back there now? Can you hear me now? But this, oh my lord. Okay. So, but one night, like I'm up at Wally's, and we're all playing pool, and it's like a weekday, so nobody's up there, and we're trying to think of the name of a song, and it's the one that goes, I'll catch a grenade for you, which I now know is the Masterpiece by Bruno Mars, but we couldn't think of the name, and this guy comes up livid, and it's just like, oh, you think it's fucking funny? And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, I'll catch a grenade for you? I was like, oh, dude, the song, like, what's the name of it? We can't think of the name. We're trying to think of the name. He, it turns out, thinks we're poking fun at the sacrifice that the soldiers make for the country. And I'm like, whoa, no, I am so sorry. I apologize, but he is beyond reason. So he grabs a pool stick and decides he's going to fight the cripple kid. And I was like, all right, dude, fucking do it. Because either way, this is a lose-lose. Like, he either gets his ass kicked by a cripple kid, or like, congratulations, you kicked a cripple kid's ass. Like, dude, be my guest, go for it. But, so like, he goes and it all fizzles out, and I walk over to him later, I see him, he's like crying, so I walk up, I'm like, hey man, and he apologizes, just said he lost some friends overseas. I was like, oh, I'm totally sorry, like, not in that way, but like, I get dealing with tragedy, it's really hard. But so we're walking out, and my friends are like, that guy was such an ass, and I like immediately jumped to his defense. And I'm like, no, like that guy is seeing stuff that y'all cannot imagine. And that's when it hit me. The problem with America, we apply our own like personal, unrelated views on things to the point like some people can't even appreciate a great pop song. Oh man, that sucks. Did I lose you? Alright. Y'all can live it. Alright. Whatever you say. So like whenever you're growing up, you never like think of all the crazy things that are gonna happen to you. But like, so everyone has these like childhood dreams. Like, how did you end up where you are now when you were a kid you wanted to be an astronaut? Which I think is funny because like nobody from Polk County is ever going into space. So, like maybe the next animal they bring up there, but even that's kind of pushing it. But yeah, so like whenever I was growing up, my thing that I wanted to be was, and you have like an individual, like so like Neil Armstrong, you want to be an astronaut. If you want to be a quarterback, you look up to Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or whatever. But so I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I want to be the Texas Rattlesnake. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the greatest American to ever live. And then, but like, it hit me, yeah, you're right, I grew up in a trailer park, screw you. But then it hit me one day that like, that could never happen. Because I could like, no matter how many pile drivers I practice, no matter how many Stone Cold Stunners I do, I could never beat somebody and walk to the corner and catch 2 beers and crack them. So that was the moment, like, I guess I gave up on my childhood dream a little later than most people, but whatever. But no, so like little things like that you don't ever think about. Like that's what you really. That's been the hard part dealing with like figuring out how to tie my shoes. That's my favorite drinking trick because like I want to see you tie your shoes with one hand. It's a bitch. Like doing buttons on your shirt, unhooking my girlfriend's bra. The important things though. But she's blushing. She's very tolerant though. I appreciate it. But so like I always get dumb questions, or like I'm totally cool with people asking me about the crash and everything, but like there's a couple of questions that I hate, like when people kind of don't ask it anymore, but they'd be like, so what are you gonna do now? And I was like, I'm fucking going to school, like I gotta write with my left hand, but like it's the same thing, like there's not like this special like, oh shit, crippled guy fast track thing you do, and you just kind of write it out. And then like the other thing is like people are like, oh, is that the hand you wrote with? And when they do it, I'm like, dude, when's the last time you wrote something more than like a tip in your signature with your hand? Like you type everything now, it doesn't matter. Like I expect the next question to be like, what hand did you hold the reins with on the horse you rode into town? Like what the, like, I don't know. You're like, yeah, I left my typewriter at the house. I'm fucked now. So for those of you who don't know the story and just haven't heard a word I said for the past few minutes because you've just been staring at my nub going, what the fuck happened to that guy? I got in a crash and burnt 40% of my body with 4th degree burns. And so like, and it's like, it was real hard and everything. And it's funny because people will be like, oh man, that's so hard. I couldn't imagine. I'm like, no. Everybody goes through their own thing. Just my scars are easier to see than everybody else's. Which in the back of my head, I'm like, you're damn right you don't. Let me fucking frizzle fry you and see how you end up. Not good. Not good. But while I was in the hospital, there was like, I got some wild stories that were like really rough at the time and grueling. And like really messed me up, and it was hard to deal with, especially because they had me on I was so doped up because all the pain would have been so bad. But so like there's like when I got in the crash, it was Christmas time when I woke up, and so my mom, to try to I guess make the hospital feel a little more homey, she like got crafts and stuff off of Etsy, and she got this little snowman that was 2 hands and a head that you like put at like the corner of a wall. So it looks like he's looking around the wall. And so the first night that I come out of my coma, I'm on so many drugs. And I see that thing. And they came in the next day, and they were like, are you okay? And I was like, you get that god dang snowman out of my room. What's wrong with the snowman? I was like, that snowman tried to sell me drugs? I was like, he had everything, man. He was very tempting. He's a pretty good salesman, but I stayed strong because I couldn't walk over there. He wouldn't leave the corner for some reason. And then I found out my doctor's name one time, like whenever I briefly came out of my coma after one of my surgeries, and I found out my doctor's name was Prince. True story, fam. And so I come out of the crash, and he's like, hey, Forrest, I'm Dr. Prince, and you just came out of surgery. And I was like, your name's Prince? And I like pulled myself. It took me like a minute. I was dying on the inside. And I would just like look him in the eyes, and I was just like, purple rain. But I had my trach, so it sounded like purple rain. I sounded like the dude off the smoking commercial. It was like, you don't want to smoke. And like that was thing nightmares are made of. And then I looked him in the eyes, and all I could think of was Dave Chappelle, which I gotta brag for a second. I got to fist bump Dave Chappelle this past weekend. I saw Tribe Called Quest in New York, and he walked down the middle line. I was like, yo, Dave, what'd it do, fam? But so then I look at him, and I just go, assemble your crew. I'll meet you outside. Surgery went well. I wish I could say the same for you. You're cool. Funkies. God, I love that skit. And then, so like my buddy DeAndre, because I was so high while I was laying in the hospital bed, I had trails, and so like DeAndre was standing here, and then he moved around the bottom of my bed and stopped over by like my left foot, and I turned to my mom and said, "Who are all these black men in the room?" And she went, "What?" And I was like, "Who the fuck are these black guys? I don't know them." And she was like, "DeAndre's in the room," and I was like, "Mm-mm." Jesse, you need to go get your eyes checked. DeAndre is here. There's like 4 black dudes I don't know. There's one here and here and here, and I pointed out all of them, and that was so. Nope. Turns out I was just way too high. And then so like the one big thing that I dealt with was like worrying about if I had lost my penis. And cause like I don't know, and like I'm like wrapped up like a mummy, and I'm like stuck in the hospital bed. And so everybody that came in, I'd be like, "Hey man, I still got my wiener." And they'd look at my parents and look back. "Yeah, dude, like just look, Forrest. You can see it." I'm like, "Nah, it's cool. I'm not even worried about it." And because like if I looked and it was there, awesome, great. But like if I looked and it wasn't there, I all of a sudden look like a Ken doll. I can't live with that. I can't do that. I'm out. That's where I draw my line. And then so the other one is like the only one that I didn't tell last time was I had just come to and I'm laying in bed, and because like they're asking me like, "Hey, does everything feel okay? Like, can you feel your legs? Do your legs feel fine?" Because they can't really tell. And I'm like, I can't feel my leg. And they're like, which leg? And I was like, the middle one. And then the doctor turned to the nurse and said, "We got to be careful about who comes in this room. we got to keep this kid under wraps." So like after I got out, I started, as Nick so gladly mentioned, I started Nessie in Wonderland. For the love of God, go follow him. We got to spread the word, folks. I wish I was as funny as my right hand is, which is like now this like internal debate I'm having. Like, am I popular or is Nessie popular? Like, I post pictures and he gets more likes, and I don't know. I think I'm like the first example of like real split personality disorder. And I'm trying to figure it out. But like adjusting to life has been really weird. But like, so like I'm a lot less in shape than I was before. But I just like used Nessie. I'm like, I couldn't bench press anymore. And they're like, "Well, why the fuck you need your hand to run?" And I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever. If you're gonna be negative like that, I don't need you in my life." And it's like really like it's hard to like have the confidence to like hit on a chick when you like I can't even carry both of our drinks over to her. Like I'm like, "Well, yeah, here you go, here, you got it. Take it, you got it." Yeah, it's weird. So like there's also like bittersweet advantages to it. And so people be like, "Oh, dude, you got the cripple pass, like so I can park close." I'm like, "Hell yeah, dude. Yeah." And then like I get to go to like the front of the lines at theme parks, and they're like, "Dude, you're so lucky." And I'm like, "You can have all of this too. Here, stick out your hand." And I always have these but I have these weird interactions with people now. So like, there's 2 of them up at the skate park, and my favorite one is one of my favorite kids in the whole world. I go up to the skate park and there's this little kid, and he comes over and he's like, "Hey man, and so like what happened to your arm?" And I like go and tell him, and I answer every question he has, and it's great. And then at the end of it, he goes, "So like, are your fingers gonna grow back?" And I was like, no. That's a reptile thing. I'm not a reptile. Lizard people are real, but I'm not one of them. And so, they're running the government, all right, dude? I'm way too low tier for that. And so he's just like, "No." And I was like, "All right, dude, here we go." And I had like this 15-minute discussion about anatomy with a 9-year-old. And then at the end of it, he just looks at me and just goes, "I think they're going to grow back." All right, dude, for your sake and mine, I hope you're right. Like, that shit would be dope. And then this other kid, and like it had to have been a joke because there's no way that he was honestly like this out of it to not even process that I was around. I hear a kid say to another kid, "So, would you rather drown to death or burn to death?" And I was just like, "What the fuck?" And I was just like, "No, this kid's not saying that around me. That's in, like, I don't want special treatment, but like there has to be some line." It's just for your sake, girls, I'm gonna lean into you and really fuck you up with a good joke. And so, like, I'm gonna call you out. And so the kid just like is asking, and I'm like watching out of the corner of my eye, making sure that like nobody notices that I realize what's going on. And then the kid turns, and as he opens his mouth, I just go, "Drowned." What? I said, as the resident expert, drowned, 10 out of 10. If you live through the drowning, then like you're just like, "Oh shit, I almost died." This shit happens if you almost died from a fire, so like drowning, go for it. You know, like whenever I tell people my story, they're like, I get this thing where they're like, "Oh, that's so inspiring. Like, I'm really sorry that you went through that, but that's such a great story." And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it hit me the other day that I'm just like a few diddled kids away from the origin story of Freddy Krueger. I'm not that far. All of a sudden, like, I know, I'm haunting your nightmares. What's up? And I fucking just realized I'm doing it once again. I discussed doing stand-up with friends for a very long time and always said, like, I will not just talk about my burns because that is just cheating and that's too easy. And look at me now. I'm like fucking Donald Trump with his Twitter. Just saying anything I want no matter what my prior promises were, whatever comes to my mind. I think I might be Donald Trump. But I can't help it because there's just a whole world of jokes that like are out there and I love them. And like I'm not gonna pass up a burn joke just because it's hurtful to someone, because I don't find it hurtful. I think that shit's funny. And if you want to cry to me about a joke, fuck off. Because if you make a burn joke to me and then you get upset when I call you out, none of that. None of that. She knows who I'm talking to when she sees this video. And but like I've become like a joke snob about burn jokes, to where like if I've heard a joke a million times, I will just like berate you about how awful of a shit person you are. And so like this girl I work with, I'm like mopping up the floor after hours one night, and she's like, "Oh hey Forrest, need a hand with that?" And I was like, "Holy shit, Courtney, you're so funny. I almost forgot I had one hand. Thank you for reminding me. I almost had a moment of happiness there. And you ripped it from me." But no, and then I went to the point, and Beat On can vouch, she was about to cry. I felt really bad. It was pretty good though. And but so then like there was, the only time that joke really got me was a girl said I was like so in the zone, I was unwrapping canned wine. Yeah, I'm that hip. I was drinking canned wine 3 years ago, so. And so I was like unwrapping it, and like each one is wrapped up with its own twine on it. And I'm like, okay, like super focused. And then like this girl says to me that I just met 2 days before, I met Bonnaroo, and she goes, "Hey Forrest, you need a hand with that?" And I'm like, no, I got this, dude. Like, it's cool. I'm almost done. I only got like 2 left. And she goes, no. Do you need a hand? And I was like, oh fuck. This is the one time it got me. And then the other joke that's really got me was pretty bad. We're riding in a car, and my ginger friend is in the car with us. And we're going to the Strawberry Festival, and so it's during the day, so he has his big sun hat on. And so my dad's like, "You look like a queer," and because he's super southern, and he's like, "What's that gay hat on your head?" And I'm like, "Dude, come on." Like he's a ginger, he burns easy, and he's like, "Yeah, well that makes 2 of you." Oh, just wait. I thought I was clever, and I forgot that my dad is who I got my cleverness from. And I was like, and I go, "It wasn't that easy. I had to go 70 miles per hour and hit a tree." And then he goes, "It was easy enough you could do it in your sleep." That's my household. I definitely get to blame him whenever I go to court eventually. And so, whoa, that's wrong. Don't do that. So, but like the thing that nobody really asks me about is like, since the crash is my like love life, nobody thinks of it because they're like, holy shit, burn kid, let's talk about burns. God forbid I discussed a normal topic. No, that's not possible. But, and so, right, it's been pretty, since the crash, I've only dated 2 ladies. And one I dated right after the crash for like a month. And now I have my loving girlfriend, Lindsay, back there. She's the shit. She puts up with me. But so the other girl, people were like, Forrest, you started dating that girl really soon after the crash. You think you might have been looking for some kind of emotional support? Like, so you didn't feel like you were going through this battle alone? And I was like, like, I want to be a tough guy. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I ain't got feelings. It's for pussies. So I was like, yeah, man, no. Like, yeah, you're probably right. And then I look him in the eyes and I go, like, with that thought, have you ever had to jerk off with your offhand? Because I'll tell you what, it takes about the length of that relationship to learn how to do it. So I figured it out. Such a hard task that I actually wrote an entire poem about it. Casey, this is my final joke. This is my dear friend Casey. He's gonna play a nice little tune for you on the piano. Just just kind of set the mood for the song about jerking off with my left hand. So let me warn you, this thing is basically just like I always wrote, and I could never get myself to write a love song because they're so just in nature inherently cheesy, and I couldn't get myself to take it seriously. So the only way I could do it was by making a bunch of puns about left and right. So folks, here we go. Hit it off right away. Oh man, she was out of sight. The only limits we could find were those of her mind. Over the years, we tried to get everything at least one time. After school, in the shower, on the beach, during a flight. As long as it was with her, I knew it'd be alright. But one day, she just didn't think our future was bright, and I left her up 75 because I couldn't bear to make her cry. Remember our time with no one around? I can no longer do what once felt right. I'm working on a 5-finger discount. I have no choice to use what's left tonight. You like that one? They say if you love someone, let them go, so I split. I would have thrown up the deuces if I could, oh shit. Try to twiddle my thumbs, but I always miss. I'm starting to have withdrawals because of how I quit. So I hit the streets to solve my problems with a new bitch. Grabbing everything that's left and throwing it in this pit. Till one day I strike a nerve and it makes me flash back a bit. Reminding me of times when we'd sit and work out my wrist. I mean, we've always been cool, but this is out of control. You were a diamond in the rough, found beauty in your soul. Since you got a grip on me, girl, we've been on a roll. But I gotta be careful, because I just might end up left arm swole. You definitely aren't right, but you are the right one, and that I know. We added it all up and dumped the solution in the bowl. Want to spice it up down St. Ives Lane, we can stroll. I know I said it last time, but if you leave, I'll be left with nowhere to go. So I hope you folks have enjoyed this tune, because I'm about to take my girl to the private room. Although she may not have been my initial go-to, she knows how to beat me till I howl at the moon. And I don't care if that sounds right to you, because she's the one that makes me sticky as glue. From now on, when I'm bored with nothing to do, I look to my left to paint the world a whiter hue. I fucking get it. Y'all have 2 hands. Stop showing off. Alright, that's all I got, guys. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you, Seth and the pink piano. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for Casey for the dope tunes. And y'all have a nice night.
Alright, guys, keep